If you keep up with technology, then I'm going to show you a family of Canon printers that are ideal for your wireless lifestyle. Hi, I'm Larry Becker. It's been a couple years since I bought a new printer, so when I had a chance to review 3 new PIXMA printers from Canon, I was really pleased while I learned about each of the thoughtful features that make these printers fit so nicely with my mobile lifestyle, not to mention how they look in my home. As it seems with any new printer, there were some idiosyncrasies with my initial setup, but once you get things up and running, it's really impressive, and these printers are packed with such a nice array of cutting-edge capabilities. The Canon PIXMA printers I used were the MG5520, the MG6420, and the MG7120. Of course, you can plug each of these printers into the computer with a USB cable, but you'll need to come up with that cable on your own. Canon really emphasizes using these printers with wireless setups, especially smartphones and tablets, so they don't even include any cables except the power cord. Besides USB connectivity, as the model numbers get bigger, so do the connectivity options. For example, the MG6420 and the MG7120 have the ability to read and print files from standard memory cards, as well as PICT-Bridge capable cameras. There are quite a few wireless-equipped Canon cameras with PICT-Bridge capability. The MG7120 is also compatible with compact flash cards, along with an Ethernet port for a wired network connection. So let's talk about the featured strength of the PIXMA line, the wireless capabilities. Canon has apps for both iOS and Android, and since I own an iPhone and an iPad, I did all my testing with the iOS side of things. It worked great. Setup was fast and easy, and everything worked as promised. I started by downloading the free Canon app called PIXMA Printing Solutions. Just do a search for PIXMA in the iTunes App Store, and it'll be the first or the second one to show up. The interface is straightforward and simple, and it pretty much does whatever you tell it to do. If you want to print from within that app, you certainly can. And if you have images in a cloud-based service like Facebook, Twitter, Flickr, Dropbox, or others, you can even print images from there using the PIXMA Printing Solutions app. And even though the app is called PIXMA Printing Solutions, you'll use that app to scan images as well. For test purposes, I loaded some glossy high-end photo paper into the MG5520 and used the PIXMA app to send a photo from my iPad image collection to the printer. From within that app, I had a few controls like choosing the paper size and the paper type. And then I sent the image. While I didn't have control over things like the cropping and the placement on the page, I was happy with the image results, which were printed borderless at 8.5 by 11. Then I grabbed the PIXMA brochure that came in the box with the printer, and I put that on the scanner. I used the same app and scanned the document fairly quickly, and then it let me save that scan into my iPad photo library. While the app works well, it is pretty limited when it comes to settings. You can't choose scan resolution or advanced processing like descreening like you can with a desktop app. You just scan and you get what it gives you. Likewise, the printer is able to handle many more instructions than the simplified iOS app lets you control. I know this because I scanned that same document directly to my Mac, and I had all kinds of options. I could enter the scan file name, choose where it would be saved, choose the file type, add several kinds of image processing like dust reduction, gutter correction, descreening, and more. And here's the cool part. I didn't have to install any software. I just plugged in my USB cable and pressed the scan button on the printer. It walked me through the entire process. While I'm on the topic of built-in software, let me mention that all 3 of these printers are Airprint compatible. What that means is that any app on your entire iOS device with a print option can work with an Airprint printer. So I can just go into my image library, open an image, and then touching the share icon gives me a list of options like email and print. That Airprint compatibility is really nice because I use a number of apps with that function, but which don't directly print from within the PIXMA app. Now, as we go up the line from the MG5520 to the MG6420 and the MG7120, you'll see that the scanner resolution is 1200 by 2400 until you get up to the MG7120, where it goes to 2400 by 4800. Honestly, whenever I scan, I never go over 300 dpi, and that's well within the capabilities of any of these printers or scanners. All these printers can also print full duplex, and I was actually surprised that they have the ability to print front and back automatically. They can all print 8.5 by 11 borderless, and up to legal size if you need. The paper trays are a little slim, but for the target market of the occasional home user and office user, that should be fine. Also, if you need to print to CDs or DVDs, you can do that with the MG7120. Just flip the bottom media tray and you'll see the disc holder. As for output, the MG5520 and the MG6420 both have output resolutions at up to 4800 by 1200 dpi for the color, and the MG7120 doubles that to 9600 by 2400. The print speed is rated at 44 seconds to print a borderless 4x6 inch print on both the MG5520 and the MG6420. Then, on the MG7120, it's more than twice as fast for the same size print. As I mentioned earlier, the aesthetics of these printers are quite nice, but the MG7120 printers are especially sleek because they have a touch surface and a touch screen. No tactile buttons. Each of these printers are available in a variety of colors. A few minutes ago, I mentioned some idiosyncrasies with initial setup. To begin with, I'm a Mac user, but the CD of software that comes with each of these printers is PC only. You have to go to the Canon website for Mac stuff, including manuals and additional software. I started by downloading and installing the complete Canon on-screen manual for the MG7100 series. Then, I tried to find instructions for something I thought was fairly simple: printing from a program on my Mac, like the Preview app or Photoshop or Lightroom, using the USB cable. That wasn't in the manual. The only thing that was in the manual was how to print using Canon's program, My Image Garden. Now that may be a fine app, but I prefer Photoshop. Honestly, it was pretty simple to find the printer drivers on the Canon site, download them, install them, and then my copy of Photoshop was printing to the MG7120 with no problems at all. There were a couple of other minor things that kind of threw me, but I figured them out without calling tech support. For instance, when you initially set up the printer and install print cartridges, it prompts you to load paper, and then it prints a test page. Following the prompts on screen was misleading a little bit because after the test print came out, it asks if the test print pattern printed properly, and you have to answer yes or no. How am I supposed to know if it's a proper test pattern or not? I took a chance and I answered yes. It turns out that was the right answer because if you answer no, the same thing just prints out again. Then it told me to take the test print and put that on the scanner, and it would align the print heads based on scanning the test print. Now that's cool. It's checking itself. By the way, I installed the Canon software on a PC here in our offices and there were no issues. I just followed the directions on screen and installation was very easy. In the end, what you care about with a printer is quality of the image output. I didn't use any color calibration equipment for lab testing, but I can tell you that whether I printed wirelessly from my iPad or via USB from Photoshop, I was impressed with the color accuracy. Just about every inkjet I've ever owned had some sort of color tint that I had to compensate for. None of these printers had that problem. They were all color accurate and delivered great photos right out of the box. Although scanning is less important than it used to be, the scanning experience is great with these PIXMA scanners as well. Based on the hints from Canon, like the low capacity paper trays and the lack of USB cables, these PIXMA printers are targeted at the wireless audience, and that's where they'll really shine. This is the kind of thing that'll get people who are used to having digital pictures printing out great pictures in the real world again. If you're looking for great photographic quality and easy wireless printing and scanning, Check out the PIXMA MG5520, MG6420, and the MG7120. For B&H and Kelby Training, I'm Larry Becker. Thanks for watching.
Whether you're a hobbyist or a professional, B&H has the answers to your questions. Experience a world of technology at our New York City Superstore. Connect with us online or give us a call. Our staff of experts is happy to help.
Scott Kelby here, and welcome to this quick tour of our online training. We have hundreds of online classes for you, covering everything from lighting to landscape photography. From portrait photography to sports, we have classes on wedding, automotive photography, shooting, food, fashion, travel, you name it. The most incredible part of this is the price. You get all of this for just $199 a year, or you can pay monthly for just $24.95. 24-hour a day, 7-day a week access from anywhere in the world. I invite you to join with us today and start learning right now.